again, everybody. Welcome to Acoustic Northeast. I am co-host George Malice.
And I'm co-host Dave Goldenberg. And this is episode 4, George. We've made 4 episodes already.
It's unbelievable. Time flies when we're having fun.
If we keep it up, we can have 5 maybe.
Yeah, I think we're going to get there. So you can reach us if you're interested in giving us a little feedback on what you're hearing at our email, which is acousticnortheast@gmail.com. And you can listen to our podcast anywhere where you get your podcast. And we're also on YouTube.
We are sponsored by Hear It There, which you can find at hearitthere.com, and also on Facebook, bringing you live music event information for the tri-state area. And you know what the tri-state is, George, right?
I think it's New York, New Jersey, and Dave's state of Connecticut.
My beautiful homeland. And Hudson Harding, who are folk music radio promoters, and WBXO Radio, streaming online with classic rock and so much more from beautiful Hopewell Junction, New York. Who do we have today, George?
We have Judy Kass. Judy Kass just came out with a new album called New Skin. It's a wonderful album, and you're going to hear some cuts live that Judy is going to play for us from that album. So here's Judy Kass. Hi, everybody. We are Acoustic Northeast. Our engineer is Hugh Curtin. I'm here with Dave Goldenberg.
Hello.
And I am George Malice, and we're coming to you from the studios of WBXO in Hopewell Junction, New York. And today we have singer-songwriter Judy Kass is our guest. And Judy, thank you, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Great
Could you
to be
please kick us off with a song and tell us about what you're going to play?
Before I play it, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think most songs that I write are somewhat autobiographical. It's probably true for many people. But this song gave me the gift of remedial reframing. I had a summer planned of a lot of things a couple of years ago and tripped. I was at a songwriting retreat and tripped and broke my ankle.
Ouch.
So it kind of threw things off kilter. But through that, because I couldn't go and do what I was originally going to do, I had the opportunity to do a couple of other things that wouldn't have happened. I also got a song out of it, and reminds us to sometimes just be grateful for the obstacles in our way.
Okay.
Sometimes we're throwing a curveball that muddies up the field. Life can come unraveled, plans can come unpeeled. No one welcomes trouble, and no one wants to fall, and no one likes to stumble when you're trying to give it all. And when you're face down in the gravel, picking pebbles from your teeth, it's hard to see the treasure shining up from down beneath. You've got to thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that took you down. You've got to thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that tripped you. That's the stone that turned your life around. Some days I sit in shadows, some days I chase the light. The path I choose to follow isn't always right. So I'm grateful when a detour offers me a pause, a gift of imperfection with beauty in the flaws. You gotta thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that took you down. You gotta thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that tripped you. That's the stone that turns your life around. And when you don't see it coming, then it knocks you off your feet. The stone that brought you to your knees might be just what you need. You gotta thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that took you down. You gotta thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that tripped you. That's the stone that turned your life around. Yeah, you gotta thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that took you down. You gotta thank the stone that tripped you. Thank the stone that tripped you. That's the stone that turned your life around.
All right. That's
Great song.
Judy Kass. Thank the stone that tripped you. That's an earworm. That song is, I'm going to be thinking about that. So, as you were falling down, did you think that here's an opportunity for a song?
Well, I was thinking of another two words that were not thank you. But no, at that point, I was still very mired in why is this happening to me? And this is gosh awful. And you know, as I was sitting there looking at an ankle, you know, those couple of when you've done it and you know it's going to be bad and you're looking at it swell. So that's where I was. It took me a little bit of time to get past that to, there might be some blessings coming out of this one.
So that song is from your new album, New Skin, which is your third release. How have you evolved in a way that makes this album different from your other two?
Well, this album includes a number of co-writes, so it's kind of a celebration of collaboration, if you will. And it just happened that way. The songs that I picked for the album happened to be ones. I've started doing a lot more co-writing in the last several years, and enjoying it. You know, it's a muscle that needs to be strengthened, you know, and so one of the things I loved about this was an album that had co-writes, yet very clearly the songs very much had me in them. And I was able, I think I have a couple more piano tunes on here than I've had in other ones. But I would have to say it's a collaborative focus of the album.
What makes a good co-writer? What makes a good collaborator?
We all, I think, come in with an idea of our 100% wish of what we would like to hear. And to be able to sometimes just set that aside just enough to be open to trying something that you might not have put into your own song if you were going at it on your own, but to just entertain an idea that might seem something you wouldn't necessarily do. So that and a good sense of humor. And humor helps. Stick with itness. And you know, it's not always a fit. It's not always a fit. And that doesn't mean that the person you're writing with isn't a good songwriter. But sometimes it's harder for it to work. But I was very lucky because I had some wonderful collaborators with this. And one of the songs, which I'm not going to be playing, was actually written posthumous. My dear friend Stacy Swedeen, who had passed in 2018, had sent me a song 21 years ago to put music to, and it sat in my pile for years. And then a couple of years after she passed, I was able to put music to it. So I think a good co-writing situation is really calling for openness.
Cool. So when you talk about co-writing, what is I'm sure there's many different processes where you may have something going on, you have a melody going on, maybe you have some lyrics here or there, and then are you stuck perhaps, and then you call somebody, or you have somebody in mind who you think can help you out?
Well, it's interesting. Glen Roethel, who I sing with in a trio we call Us, together with Amy Susi, he's on a couple of them, and exactly that. I think I was playing Thank the Stone was very much in the works, and I ran it by him, and he offered some really good suggestions. And, you get to that point, he's like, okay, we're in co-write land. And Soothsayer, another song on the album, that one I was more stuck with. So that one, it was like, hey, you have that puzzle piece that goes into this hole that I can't seem to find in the box. So I think sometimes it is just that.
Sure. Do you remember, that's what I always say that when we're older, do you remember the first song that you co-wrote? Like how long ago is what I'm asking?
My first co-write. Boy, that's a hard one. I don't
Approximate.
I have to really look at my
The reason I'm asking is because some people don't want to co-write because their music is so personal. Mm-hmm. So what I'm asking is, was there a point where your music was so personal to you that you wouldn't even consider asking somebody else to write with you?
Interestingly enough, one of the most personal songs, which is on that album, is a 4-way co-write. I wrote, I wrote with, it was like the cast of Ben-Hur. It was a songwriting retreat with a small group, and we were paired and put into groups of 3 and sometimes 4. And we were in the gristle. We were really in the gristle of, writing about feeling broken. And it did feel very personal at first, and you're bearing your soul. And but for the most part, I'm not afraid to go there. Maybe because I my straight gig was as a therapist, so right. I like playing in that space anyway.
How much of you being a therapist plays into your music?
Oh my gosh, it's provided amazing fodder.
So have you had any lawsuits or?
No, never names, but certainly themes. I mean, the theme of that song of Feeling Broken, it's a piano tune, so it's not going to be played today, but, and it's called You Are the Song. No, I haven't. And very often, sometimes clients have heard my songs, might have heard a song that was inspired by work with them or work with others and not recognized it as such, because I try to universalize it, if you will. And there's some themes that I write about. In my first album, there's a song, Green Line Coat, which talks about feeling bullied, a kid surviving middle school. I mean, we've all kind of survived middle school, hopefully. And some of us, as I feel, would rather stick my pencil in my eye than repeat it. But we're able to look back and see the universality of surviving that and being able to move on and have that gained confidence. So, no lawsuits. I'm happy to say yet is always the operative word.
Cool. I wanted to ask you about a song that you had covered by Christine Lavin, and also a video that I believe she did of it.
Are you not talking to me? Look at Us Marching Now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's my song.
I know, it's your song.
Oh.
But she covered it?
She covered it?
Oh, no, she didn't cover it. She created a video. That's a co-write. Oh. And that might have been one of my first co-writes that I felt really good about with Dan Berggren. And that came right after the Women's March in 2017. And that, again, I had it a good way in and played it for Dan. Actually, yeah, I had a melody, I had a chorus, I had a feel, and he'll help me bring it home with some wonderful input.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought that she had also covered it, but she did the video.
If she had. Hey, Chris, if you're listening, you can cover it anytime.
Exactly. There you go. That's what we all want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, please take my song. Take my song, please.
Take my song, please.
So, Judy, can you give us another song, please?
Sure.
Tell us, intro it.
Oh, I'll intro it. Sure. Look at Us Marching Now, I wrote in 2017, a day after the Women's March, together with Dan Berggren. I just was astounded by what the election of 2016 did for so many of us who thought that our marching days were over. We were like, again, you want us putting on marching shoes and going out there? But the times were calling for it. And who knew how much we'd be needing it in the days ahead. So.
The conversation takes an awkward turn at the local diner table, and it used to be easy to avoid an angry word. Now I'm no longer able. I missed the protests of the civil rights years, signing occasional petitions, but complacency ended when action soon revealed the truth of the lesson. I never did much marching, wasn't much for marching. Look at me marching now. My neighbor hasn't stopped, just not in a while. Her smile grows tighter as she greets me, and my kid says his friend is scared to go to school, afraid they'll come for the family, because the stakes are at an all-time high, and the situation's dire. We can no longer wait to take our place at their side. Late arriving soldier, we never did much marching, not much marching. Look at us marching now. We never did much marching, not much marching. Look at us marching now. Good soldiers come together heeding the call, side by side, sister and brother, and it's left, right, left, each and all, putting one foot before the other. We never did much marching, not much marching. Look at us marching now. We never did much marching, not much marching. But look at us marching now. Ooh, look at us marching. Ooh, look at us marching now. Ooh, look at us marching.
That's Judy Kass. Look at Us Marching Now from her new album, New Skin. And it's a great song. And in the way of traditional folk songs or folk singing, it's inspired by events. That's why so many folk songs are topical. Right. You know, this music is how we react to things, especially folk singers. Now, I know that 9/11 was a very difficult day for you. What happened on that day, and how did it affect you as an artist?
Well, I have a very personal relationship with the events of 9/11. I was working at the World Trade Center. I worked for Marsha McLennan, and I was normally going into my office on the 48th floor. And the night before, I had come home late. We were going through an acquisition and kicking the tires of a company, in human resources, looking at all the things we were requiring that could cause problems, and working late. Got home, and my then 9-year-old daughter greeted me in tears because it was notebook check that following day. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm taking my kid off the bus. She's going to have her snack at her kitchen table. So I decided to work from home. And that next morning, called into the meeting at 9:00 to a busy signal at the World Trade Center. Oh. And one doesn't get a busy signal on the phone lines of the World Trade Center. And my boss, who was located in Richmond, we were a global team, called just at that moment and yelled to turn on the TV. And I watched as what happened unfolded. And she was saying, "You're not going to have to go back there, and we're going to house you all somewhere else." As I watched the second plane go into our building, and I said, "Yeah, you're right. We're not going back there." And I wrote a song at the memorial that we had for our employees, which is on the title of my second album, Beyond the Ash and Steel. Couldn't sing it for 15 years. I had to repurpose. I had to make it from my perspective, and I had to universalize it past the trauma of that event to talking about how we move through any sort of trauma. So yeah, that day has always been a rough one. It's probably only about the last couple of years that I don't go through every day without some sort of a memory of it.
I can't even imagine. I mean, lucky. Is there like a little bit of like, I know some people have felt like guilt that they weren't there type of thing?
Yeah, there's some of that. The song Beyond the Ash and Steel actually had been inspired by, there was a colleague who had just gotten permission to work remotely. She had just had a baby. Wow. And had just been given permission to work remotely, and she perished. Anybody who was there that morning perished. So yeah, sure. There's like, I'm here. It was, and for a little while I had to be careful because my daughter had kind of this like sense of like, "Mommy, don't do that. I don't feel right about it." She kind of, even though we never talked about the fact that I stayed home because of her, I think there was a part of her that recognized that. It's tricky, why things happen. I heard a couple of stories of people who were almost there and then weren't.
Right.
But we lost close to 300 people in my company.
Wow. That's just so sad.
Yeah.
But you weren't working as a therapist then, were you?
No, I was in my corporate. I was in human resources, which I joke and say, yeah, it was the difference between human resources and working as therapy. Same movie, different theater. But you're still working with dysfunction. But no, I then went back because clinical social work was my first career, and I left that for a stint. I thought it was going to be a short stint in the corporate world. It turned out to be 21 years until I got tired of dressing naked emperors and went back to the clinical work. So,
well, let's change subjects.
Good, not a bad idea.
Let's talk. Let's talk about music works.
Okay.
That you've been involved with for years. Tell the audience about that.
Yeah. Well, growing up in Tarrytown and actually living in Tarrytown and Sleepy Hollow in my adult years and raising my child
New
there.
York, just New for York. The people who... Yeah.
It's right by the Tappan Zee Bridge. And it's a very diverse community, and we wanted that. My husband's from Argentina. We speak both Spanish and English in our home, and we were looking just for that sort of diversity in our community. Yet in the public school, I was struck by how few kids went beyond fifth grade music and went into high school in the ensembles. And the ensembles were not very diverse. And I did some research and I just did some thinking, and it occurred to me that unlike a number of different art forms or group sports, for example, it's hard to master an instrument without that mentoring, without that one-on-one connection and relationship to help you get through all of the pieces of you that have to kind of come into place for you to really get into serious music study. So I had formed a relationship with SUNY Purchase, their program, and we took about 8, I think, at the time in 2007, students and matched them with a graduate student. And it's still going on. I think we have 16 students this year.
That's wonderful.
And we run it not with SUNY Purchase. Right now it's under the auspices of the school, and we match them with teachers, and they get that one-on-one lesson.
And is it all kinds of music, or is it mostly ensemble music like they have at school?
Well, the point was to try to create, more inclusion in our school ensembles. But it is. I mean, we have students that are their focus is more jazz, some that's more classical. But the goal is to keep them involved and engaged in music throughout at least their secondary educational career. Some have, continued on. But we tracked their performance in school academically along with the program, and there's a very strong connection.
Yes.
It was also special to be able to bring the gift of serious musical study to the homes of these students as well. A lot of their families had never been to a professional performance of music. And we, at the time, there was the Westchester Jazz Orchestra going, and the director of that was very kind and would give us tickets for the entire family of our students. So we were able to really touch it's kind of, I forget who said it, but I think Bolivar, who had started the program in Venezuela, El Sistema, that really worked with students and included them in an orchestra. And you drop a pebble in and you see the circles going. Yeah, so that's what happened.
If people want to support Music Works, where can they find out how?
There is a website, and I think it's musicworks.org. But you know what? Better than that, if you reach out to me at judykass.com, I will direct you to where the fundraising is taking place at this juncture.
And that's Judy Kass, Kass.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. That's great. And we're touching on your social media and your website, and you are on all of the streaming platforms, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah. Just got it together with Bandcamp.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Judy Kass.
You're on Spotify because we listened to it on the way up.
Yep.
So Dave and I are responsible for you earning .0001
Thank you.
cent.
How many pieces of bubble gum can we buy with that?
You can't. Bubble gum is like a quarter a piece now. You're not getting any bubble gum out of that.
Bandcamp, I don't know. I guess you could find me on YouTube. The usual.
Once you put them up using DistroKid or whatever it happens to be.
That's right.
Whatever you use, they put you up on everywhere.
There were
anyway.
even you don't want them. So.
Yeah.
Judy Kass, thank you so much for joining us today. We've had a great time talking with you. And as we said, you can find Judy online at judykass.com. And you can also find her music on all streaming platforms. You are listening to Acoustic Northeast. I'm Dave Goldenberg with George Malice, coming to you from the studios of WBXO in Hopewell Junction. Judy, why don't you take us out with the last song?
Great, and thanks so much for having me.
Reaching through her empty pantry, counting pennies from a jar. Hunger turns from sad to angry. Safety, comfort seems so far. She's gone from hot mess to the fire. She's landed face smack on the ground. She's hung by a thread and a wire, but this time she's not going down. Don't judge the road she's pursuing. Don't try to take her in hand. Don't tell her how she is doing. She's doing the best she can. Waking to a homeless morning with a hunch that seems wrong. Begs a meal, eats a morning, disappears into the throng. He's gone from hot mess to the fire. He's landed face smack on the ground. He's hung by a thread and a wire, but this time he's not going down. Don't judge the road he's pursuing. Don't try to take him in hand. Don't tell him how he is doing. He's doing the best he can. Many wise words I've been offered, friends who brave the same front line, and too many tirades I have suffered from those who push their path on mine. I've been through hot mess to the fire. I've landed face smack on the ground. I've hung by a thread and a wire, but this time I'm not going down. Don't judge the road I'm pursuing. Don't